Hello, ladies and gentlemen, everybody in between. My name's Kieran, and this is my resonance compadre, Derek.
Hello.
And today we're here to definitely not do an impromptu shotgun at our hips presentation about our studio, Resonance Games, and our game, Resonance Rhythm and You. And yeah, so we're, just a little bit about ourselves. We've been to Global Game Jam. I want to give a shout out to Global Game Jam for inviting us, especially Brandon for sending the email out. We let it slide a little long on our end, but we really appreciate being included in this event. And I think we've been in the last at least 2 years, if I'm not mistaken. So some of you might remember us, and some of you might be new faces, like Sabishi Angel, who just dropped into chat here. Oh shit, things are popping off. I don't know if I'll be able to keep up with everybody's names. Welcome, Heinerman. Yes, we are a indie studio primarily based out of Vancouver. Technically, though, we are worldwide, remote, with members in United States, Canada. We have one, our VFX artist at the moment is in Italy, and I am currently sitting in lovely Hiroshima, Japan. So this is coming from Japan all the way from the far east side of the world, or west, depending on which way you're walking. And we're just gonna let the music die there while I talk. We are a small group. Actually, I shouldn't even say a small group, Derek, because we're pretty sizable. We're a pretty sizable studio considering most indies. We have about 11 or 12 people right now at the moment, and have been working basically slow burn for the last few years, just chipping away at this project and helping out where we can. And yeah, we're kind of now at this point where we are seeking funding for our project, and working to we just finished wrapping up our vertical slice of the game, which was about like this 30-minute to 45-minute slice of the final product, which is what we're going to show you today. We still have a lot of polish to do and a lot of updates and upgrades that we want to do for that. But yeah, we're kind of in an exciting moment where we're ramping up our social media efforts, looking into, publishers, Kickstarter.
Soundboard.
Muda, indeed. Thank you for joining us, Pat. We're looking into all that good stuff, even, in the midst of this terrible, terrible recession that we're having in our industry with, hundreds and thousands of people being laid off. We definitely want to give a shout out to all of the people that have been affected by that over the last 12 months. We're very fortunate to have a team that is, working on this while they have full-time work, or are freelancers just chipping in. And so we're here. We're going to play our vertical slice, the newest build, which hasn't been released yet. So this is our 0.10 build. Our 0.9 build is currently up on itch.io. So if you want to play the game after this presentation, you can go there. We have a QR. I think Derek placed a QR code for our website in the chat. We can post links, though, if anybody wants more. And we should be pushing this 0.10 build on our itch page sooner than later, hopefully within the next few weeks. So stay tuned for that if you want to wait to see the newest and latest and greatest. So Resonance Rhythm and You is our game. It is a rhythm RPG set in a sort of fantastical world, but it isn't necessarily a fully fantasy game, as you'll see as we play. So I'll start her up here, and I just want to leave the floor open for questions or anything that comes into your guys' mind. Feel free to leave them in chat. Derek's going to be reading them out, and we're going to be answering them. We'll be talking about the game as we play through. This isn't really a formalized presentation, like a PowerPoint presentation. And so, yeah, without further ado, let's start her off here. We're happy to answer questions about the game, about our indie studio experiences, about anything you guys want. So we'll let this little intro cinematic play out that we have here.
I will also say, I didn't want to interrupt you earlier, but I did, while you were doing the thank yous, but I did also want to thank everybody that's tuning in right now. to watch our stream. I know it's always very hectic with the game jam, so whatever capacity you're viewing us right now, whether it's just sort of like some noise in the background while you work, really appreciate you stopping by.
Yes, for sure. This is a big turnout, actually. It's bigger than most of the turnouts we usually had in the past. Okay. So this is our... Oh, sorry, Derek. What's up?
I was just going to say we already got some questions coming in.
Oh, sure.
So Stevie VR is asking, what was the process you went through to find your artist for the game?
So for our artist, I guess it depends what artist. So we have a few artists. We have Brian Gatewood, who's our 2D pixel artist, and we also have a environment artist, Omid Rasti, a concept artist, Barrett Freimar. In all those cases, I'll let this hang for a little second while I answer this. So in all those cases, so in Barrett's case, Barrett was one of the first people on the project to do the concept art for us. I reached out to him in like 2020 and I got him to do a version of the hero concept, a reimagining of the hero concept that Derek here actually originally did. And so he jumped on and helped us. And then Omid, our environment artist, I actually worked with professionally years ago, and so he was interested when I reached out to him. And Brian, we reached out to over Twitter. He was a freelancer. Definitely check him out at GateKid3 on Twitter. Yeah, that's kind of we're very fortunate in that many of the people on our team are people I've either worked with or I'm friends with or I went to school with. Derek and I went to Vancouver Film School back in 2015, 2014. I see Sabishi Angel asking about the floor. I won't lie, this was from a Unity asset pack. It isn't custom tech, so I can't answer how it works. All I know is that it tracks the hero based on an object, and then, for example, when he moves forward, I manually move the object in the animation, and it updates the floor. It was part of a pack that we were using just to prototype something, and we all loved it so much, it's just kind of stuck around at this point. I can't remember the name of the pack, but I can take a look.
I've looked at the pack briefly. From what I remember and what I could make an assumption about based on how it looks is some type of sine wave and like a fragment shader, I'm gonna assume, like spread across a bunch of cubes. And then I assume it probably would use like a texture map of some sort for the, like where the hero is. I forget how you do the hero thing. If it's just like a collider or something like that. But anyway.
Yeah, I think there's a game object at the hero's feet that I manually move. Rose says, VFS. I'm sure there's lots of VFS alumni in this chat with us at the moment. Me and Derek were GD39. I don't know what that means to certain people, but...
I don't know what the latest...
From my understanding, it's going up.
Yeah.
So I should talk about the game a little bit. So all the main gameplay, our combat system is kind of our unique feature. It allows you to basically do all your actions on the beat of the song. So I can block, I can block up, I can dodge roll, and then get subsequently hit by the attack. I can attack. You basically we're giving the kind of directive to the player to be able to choose what they do on the beat. And you can see that the enemy is also acting on the beat, attacking, from above or from the right. There'll be some other special attacks I can point out later. But this is just kind of the tutorial fight where you learn the basic controls. So right now it's just kind of teaching you, hey, you can block up. Now it's teaching you, hey, you can harvest rhythm from these beat nodes moving through the screen. So These charged ones you can pull basically mana from. And with that mana, you can activate special abilities. Get bombastic attacks like our Beat Slash.
So I'll actually ask a question right now about that while we're waiting for more people to ask things. Oh, I guess I'll wait if you want to...
Yeah, let me just wrap this up. That's our tutorial battle, which you can currently play in our 0.9 build. It's not as... There's a few small things polish-wise that we've added in this build, but largely the same.
Is, we were talking about an issue we're having with the latest build right before we hopped on, which is why we're doing Unity. So is the Beat Slash working in the current build that's available?
Yeah, the Beat Slash should be working fine.
Cool. And speaking of the Beat Slash, are we planning to get any more like special cool abilities in this demo in the future?
That's a great question. So for our vertical slice, probably not in terms of like beat challenges and stuff, but we definitely want to have them in the future. So we want to have multiple different kinds of rhythm-based challenges that aren't just the arrows, for example. We have other ideas for what we want to do there, and then you'd have multiple different moves utilizing the same challenge. So you might have another challenge that uses the arrows but does something completely different. But those are all things we want to add down the line. We're really focused on making sure the scope is in line with what we're able to do. That's a huge thing for us, should be for any indie studio, is just scope. So we just wanted to have one big flashy attack, and there's also another use of the arrow system, which we'll get into later. But Azure Star says the music is great. That is the work of our composer Jeff Gammon. He's incredibly talented. Very lucky to have him on board. And so you can actually, something new for you, Derek, there's some new ambient tracks as well. So you might be able to hear the wind or the birds in the background there. That's all new stuff we just recently got in, was the ability to play our ambience through Fmod.
I'm just enjoying I don't think I've seen this new environment art in a while. This is looking way better than it did before.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, the environment's improved a lot. And there's also something special. Oh, looks like we found something under here. These are placeholders, these orbs. We want to get in proper, like, lootable objects, but this is what we have for now. And, Derek, one thing you might have noticed, but you see our sprite here. Lighting on our 2D sprite.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa. So if you play the builds right now by going to our website, you'll notice that our sprites are all like super lit, like all the time. And we finally got it so that now they respect certain lighting. It's still a little bit of a tricky thing, but it is cool to see. Yes, Carl the Cool says the orbs and random sparks piles as placeholders remind him of RPG Maker. Does give you RPG Maker vibes for sure. But yeah, look at that, Derek. The speckle of light on the hero as he runs through the forest. People in the chat, people here are probably like, yeah, so what? You don't know how long we have had just like fully lit sprites. So this was a big technological advancement for us in this games.
I find we're like envying our own game more than anyone else now. It's been a while since I looked at it.
Yeah.
Even the post-processing, like everything, has come a long way.
For sure, 100%. And I also want to point out this kind of janky purple arrows. These are obviously placeholder at the moment, but we wanted to be able to create a 2D game, basically like a Metroidvania style, like moving around a world, but then have some depth to it as well. So we'll have these areas where you can actually, right now it kind of just snaps, which doesn't look great, but we want to be able to like push in and push forward in the world and explore different areas and get different angles of approach. And so it lets our level design basically be like, right now I can't get around this pillar, but if I went around it this way, I can get around it. So it's this weird blend of 2D, 3D that kind of allows us to still play a 2D game largely, but have these 3D elements in our world, which is exciting. Let's see if this gear does anything. Yeah, we actually have a sword swing, but it doesn't do anything right now. So we have everything on our X prompts.
Will there be any plans to actually add something to the vertical slice to interact with versus with a sword slash?
With a sword slash, TBD. We're kind of in a content lock right now. We don't want to add too many new things right now because we're just trying to focus on polish. And so adding like breakables and things that interact with sword slash is kind of new content. It kind of goes against our content lock, but we'll see. Maybe if we have some extra bandwidth. Carl the Cool says the lighting sprites is so hard because it's super subjective and super math heavy. It's true. I think though we kind of cheated our way around it, I feel like. So I feel like Omid figured out a way to just put a material on the sprite that basically like acts as like a normal map or something to the sprite, and then can be we have a front lit one and a backlit one. You have to pick, unfortunately, which way you want it to be lit. But then the lighting just kind of, it doesn't give you all the nitty gritty like of the hero armor and stuff like a normal, like a bumpy thing would do. But yeah, I think it wasn't too bad. We could just throw basically this material on it and it seemed to work. But look at that, Derek. Look at that lighting right there. Isn't that nice to see? It's just me and Derek.
It's new.
Talking about the lighting. Yeah, we're gonna explore this ruin and see what we can find.
I remember reading a interesting paper on how to actually one way you can light sprites with like a normal map. Maybe that's something we could look at in the future. But for now, this is a welcome improvement for.
Oh yeah, it used to be that the hero shone like a light bulb right here, and now he actually looks like he's exploring a spooky cavern, spooky ruin. Should jump down here. Damn, nothing but rocks. Yeah, if anybody has any questions about anything in the game that you're seeing right now, or any questions about the studio or anything like that, if you just dropped in, feel free to ask in the chat where we're answering all questions that we can. Not that we can, we're just answering all questions that show up. Wait, what happened? I fell. Release date goal? DVVR developer asks. That's a loaded question. So right now we're in get money goal because we're currently unfunded, and so that's kind of our main goal. We're not really thinking about release dates though. Oh, look at that. Somehow found our way back out. But right now, like just projecting really roughly ahead, if we ended up getting funding in the next few months, we're hoping to be able to bring on 6 to 7 full-time people, if possible. That's kind of our stretch goal. And if that occurs, then we're probably looking at 12 to 18, 20 months of development. So you could probably, it's probably safe to say Resonance, Rhythm and You, 2026. but hope maybe late 2025. You never know. Dream big.
And there's another question from Pagu. If we're considering crowdfunding like Kickstarter.
We are 100% considering crowdfunding like Kickstarter. We're looking at various crowdfunding options and seeing which ones make sense for us. We're not opposed to doing multiple crowdfundings across different platforms to just reach a wider audience. But yes, we are considering it. We're just making sure we're ready. We're in a place that we want to feel comfortable and confident putting our demo out and having the materials to create a Kickstarter page. There's a lot that goes into a Kickstarter page. I'm sure anybody here that's done anything Kickstarter related knows, like, you got to make sure you have all your ducks in a row before you hit that launch button. But definitely keep in touch with us and check out our socials, because we'll be posting about when we launch our early, the early access Kickstarter or whatever, the wish list of it. And so hopefully you guys will all see that in the coming months.
Yeah, I believe the plan, correct me if I'm wrong, was to continue building up the community aspect a little bit more before we would actually pull a trigger on a crowdfunding campaign like that.
Yeah, our you know, social media presence has been pretty recent. We just haven't had the bandwidth to do it up until recently. We're still building that. We're on Instagram. We have our Discord channel. We have a TikTok. We have our Facebook group, a Twitter. So if you want any of those links, I'm sure Derek, you could dredge up our link tree. You can throw that in the chat.
Oh man, we have a link tree.
We have a link tree. Yeah, go. that's your goal right now. Go find our link tree. While I go explore Zephyr at in this sort of twilight hour. We've got new guards and new characters populating the world now, making it feel a little bit less empty, which is nice. And Derek, we actually have some new tech as of yesterday. Ooh. And that is that you might notice this is very twilighty light and sky. We actually are being. I was made it so we can switch to the daytime mode and have some stuff happen at daytime. So we got some. We don't have a day-night cycle. I don't want to do that, but just to make it feel a little more thematic, I added a little bit of something for that. This guy's saying we look pretty rough. Oh, I guess we passed out.
I think we might be needing an animation there.
Might need an animation there, or at least a sound effect. A mysterious voice in our head. Because, Rhythm and You, a lot of our themes for the game are obviously music is a huge part of it. Music and sort of the emotions and, emotional resonance, for lack of a better term, that people feel when they listen to music. It's a huge theme for us. But we also have themes like love is a huge one, loss, the idea of kind of heirlooms and what you leave behind. These are kind of all of the themes that we want to explore with this game. And here we get to meet our hero's lovely wife, Elizabeth. The baby must be asleep, but she was able to take care of us while we were passed out. And you know what? Just for fun, because we have so many people watching here, and you all taking the time out to spend some time. There's a little Easter egg that I threw in that only Derek here knows about, but I'll share it with you guys. I thought, there's a table. I could have just put a wall so you can't jump, past this table. But the way that the Geo was set up, you could actually jump on the table. And I thought that's kind of strange. Why would you be in your house jumping on a table? So let's see what happens if I jump on the table. Uh-oh. She's that's a polite way of putting it. So yeah, well maybe we'll creep off the table. Sorry dear. We'll be going now.
I would have liked to have seen like a more angry, get your damn muddy, filthy boots off my clean table.
Maybe we can add it that if you jump on the table over and over again, she gets progressively upset with you or something. I also wanted to do like a camera zoom in on her face, but I wasn't able to make that work yet.
Stretch goals,
that's right. Got some more NPCs.
How many NPCs do we have right now in the game?
NPCs in the game? I think, like, just in Zephyr, you mean? Like the sound?
Yeah, walking around.
We have two, like, Zephyrin, like, locals. Yeah, and then we have the guards, the new guards, and then we have a couple of what we're calling outsiders, which are, they're not natives to Zephyr. Let's put it that way. Who knows where they come from? Maybe you'll have to play the game and deduce by yourself, but we'll run into them in a bit here. But right now we're just going to be exploring this kind of creepy back alleys. And you can kind of see how our 2D system can sort of blend with 3D. Like, I'm not actually moving up here. I'm just moving left and right. If I press up and down, nothing happens. But if I jump up, it actually respects the fact that I was able to jump up here. So we can kind of get some more 3D environmental exploration through that, which is kind of cool.
We also got another question in chat from Pagu. As a project manager, how do you create tasks and distribute work among programmers to ensure they don't step on each other's toes?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm technically a project manager, but I'm not the project manager. That's our friend Pine. But how do you create tasks and distribute work among? I end up distributing tasks and creating tasks a lot, so maybe I can answer this still. Distribute work among programmers to ensure they don't step on each other's toes. Honestly, I think communication is the biggest thing. We're very blessed in that we have a team that really wants to engage with the project, on a weekly basis. And apologies if I pause here on the game here. But we have weekly meetings. We have a programmer meeting every Sunday evening, where our two programmers and I join in the channel. Derek sometimes comes too. And we chat about their weekly tasks, and we just make sure that they're up to date, solving problems that might occur, asking questions. And then the biggest thing as a project manager is just being, especially if you're a project manager that's like in the game, like in the tech, like actually working in the engine, just making sure you are open and available for your programmers, because if they have questions, and they ask them, the faster you can get those questions answered for them, the better it'll be for them, especially in this case where our programmers are donating their time. We're not actually, everybody's working in kind right now in the studio. I'm currently unemployed, just focusing on Resonance games at the moment, so nobody's getting paid for this. And so respecting people's time in that situation is the best course of action. And just keeping tabs with people and just seeing, making sure that you're on top of their tasks, and making sure that they remember certain things as well. So stepping on each other's toes is difficult. Making sure they work in different parts of the game as well. So like right now, our programmer Taylor, he's working on audio systems primarily, and audio stuff, FMOD related, whereas Marky, our other programmer, is focusing on bug fixes and gameplay related stuff. So the chances of them overlapping is pretty slim. But that's going to be a case by case basis. Just want to show off another example of this Z depth movement, where you kind of have an automatic plane shift up here, able to jump onto the window ledge and explore. So let's go check out that dead body, though. That's the most interesting thing. The dead Kingsguard. So in our game, our hero is kind of a scavenger. Oh, who is this? This is our titular roguish frog named Ooze. You may have seen him if you've seen any of our marketing or website or anything. He's been around for a while. He's almost as old as the hero, and he has a bone to pick. He wants the loot, and he's not willing to share. And so this is where the game kind of takes a turn, because up until this point, it's been very fantasy-driven, music and vibe. And all of a sudden, this frog with a spear and a knife is facing you, and there's some sort of funk rock music playing in the background. And the reason for that is that the hero and his new abilities allows him to hear the soul song of his opponent. And it just so happens that the song that Ooze's soul has decided to present itself is funk rock. And so we want to use these opportunities to really break the genre of our game and kind of experiment with different musical genres as well. And you'll see that there's kind of this fiery effect that gets around Ooze. What happens basically... Oh, a cheeky little hit there. We actually have a fix for that, but it never made it into this build yet, so I'll have to just take it on the chin. But this flame effect here that you see is... Let's see if I can trigger it again right there. So if you pressure the enemy too much, they go into this sort of revenge state. And while they're in this revenge state, they're fully on the aggro, they block all of your attacks, and it kind of makes it so that you have to play defense and learn their combos. And obviously, oh, he's gonna get an... Mother.
Ruined your perfect run.
I know. It's fine. It's fine. You know what? I'm gonna cancel his revenge by activating Beat Slash here.
Ah, pro strats.
And yeah, some pro tips.
And
well,
I was just gonna throw in, because like most people playing this game probably wouldn't I guess, breeze through it as you're kind of breezing through it right now.
Sure.
You've been playing this more than anybody else, obviously, and you can pretty much no damage any fight right now in this game. So
it is true. Was there a question there, or are you just kind of? Oh, you're just pointing out.
We're just pointing it out. Yeah. Okay. There's.
Yes.
I guess there was. Sorry, I'll let you go first. Okay, I'll go first. I was gonna lead into perhaps like balancing and like the difficulty at some point of like how that is gonna work out for us in this game.
For sure. So yes, like Derek mentions, I played this way too much, and I can basically get no hit runs across the entire vertical slice. Mileage will vary based on your experience with rhythm games, your experience with even just paying attention to patterns and that sort of thing. And so some people will struggle more than others. But the biggest thing is for us for difficulty. I mean, obviously BPM is huge. So a slower song like this is going to be easier than a faster song, which we'll see later. But then, other things like just regulating how often the enemy attacks, what their attacks do, how much damage they're doing will be a big part of that in the future as well. And then we want to also have things like modifiers to stuff like the beats that you're using and the kind of the effects that the enemy's putting on you that might change the way that the gameplay is done. So we don't want to just make the big thing for us is making sure that BPM isn't just our sole difficulty scaler. So it's like we have to go faster. We need to go faster. It's unrealistic, especially for people that aren't as rhythmically inclined, which we want to still be able to have a game where they can play. We have ideas too for difficulty settings. So we want to make sure that people that aren't rhythm game players still can enjoy the game. So perhaps, for example, the ability to press the attack button or block button in between beats where normally you would fail, it just basically loads it in the chamber for the next beat for you. So stuff like that can help ease the difficulties a bit. Yeah, that's kind of where we're looking. But yes, you definitely will probably have a bit of a more difficult time playing the demo. But that's kind of the fun of it too, is learning the game and learning the enemy attacks and sort of the patterns, because every enemy has patterns with their attacks, whether they're attacking twice from the right and then once from above, or maybe they have a different special kind of attack. And sort of learning those patterns is actually sort of rewarding. One of the things I love seeing is players playing our game and having a hard time at first, but then after subsequent plays of the fight, but especially the boss fights, after play 2 or 3, they're like really getting into it. And that's something I really enjoy watching for our game in particular. I see there's a lot of new faces here, so I just want to reiterate, if any of you have any questions, this is an open forum, so please just send them off in the chat here, and we'll answer them as we go, whether that's about the game, our indie studio experiences, or anything else. We're happy to answer. But let's go home here, because Elizabeth's probably going to be worried. No, look at that cute little bundle. An old bundle of joy. We always joke that in our team that a lot of games, the big thing in the last few years has been like, can you pet the dog? Can you pet the cat? It's almost become like, if you have a dog or cat in your game, you have to put that in now. But nobody talks about, can you hold the baby? Can you pet the baby? And so, one of the things we want to do in Resonance is allow you to actually hold the baby. Unfortunately, we don't have that technology today, but you can definitely look forward to that in the future.
So I want to ask, can you rock the baby to the beat? That would be a fun money game.
Yes, that is an idea that unironically has come up in our team meetings. So hopefully we can do that. Or maybe tossing the baby up and down, Just don't drop the baby. Okay, looks like we're going to rest at home. The King's Guard's body shook us a bit. But yeah, we want to... One of the big things is like, the hero and his family. And so we want to make sure that... Elizabeth is weirdly lit here. So, okay, this is a good example. So I haven't actually put the material on Elizabeth here. And so you can see the difference of what all the sprites used to look like versus the hero now and what he looks like. And so it makes quite a difference, which is nice to see. I'll have to update this this sprite of Elizabeth. Break core producers be like prison. True. Yeah, so one of the big things is like our hero has a family, you know. Elizabeth, she obviously takes care of the child's full-time job being a mother, but she also goes and helps out at the academy. You know, she has a deep interest in history and academia, which is kind of going on a downfall in Zephyra. And so that dynamic of like family life is like important for us, while we have all these fantasy things happening in the background and like happening, you know, around our hero, and this combat and all this sort of stuff, and this world of building around him. We really want to make sure that we have this family dynamics very core to the process, and being able to come into the house and actually have like conversations that like match what you're doing in the game a little better, or you know, taking care of the kid. Maybe we can have the kid backpacked onto the hero and he has to go fight and be careful because the kid's on his back. I don't know, there's all sorts of ideas we want to do, but you know, that's kind of where we're at.
That sounds like a hardcore mode of like no
baby
damage
mode?
run. Yeah, no damage run.
No
You got the baby in the
damage
back.
There you go. There we go. If we jump on the table enough times, will Elizabeth activate a beat duel? Would love to hear her. Ooh, Elizabeth Soul Song. Well, I'll give you guys a you know, a little hint. Is, you know, when you're home and you hear this music, you might be able to kind of catch some of the melodies that you know, originate from Elizabeth's Soul Song. So, you know, it's not just in combat where we, you know, where these sort of tunes matter, but also in environmental exploration like this. So now, can you take this track and make it heavy metal? Because she's gonna kick your ass. I don't know. We'll see. And another thing too is, you know, if you come out here and talk to Tansy again, their neighbor, you know, you'll get different dialogue throughout the vertical slice as well. More for people that really like the narrative and like character and dialogue, but I wanted to make sure there was something there for them as well. Oh, got a new guy. A new guy showed up. Looks like he's.
Question.
Oh, there's a new question. Yeah, what's up?
What inspired you to push the characters into such a confined gender role? Like...
Why does she care about the cleanliness of her table so much? You know what? Yeah. Primarily, that is true. Perhaps when you jump on the table, Elizabeth should congratulate you for your rambunctious nature. That is a good point. And as a character, what motivates Elizabeth to kick her husband's ass, and why should I, as a player, care about that plot line? Oh yeah, I mean, it's more of a it's. I don't really have a good answer for that, more than just early on when we were doing development, we had our hero character, and I thought, you know, we don't often get games where, you know, you actually have a family at home. Like, how many games can you think of where, I guess Pokemon, where you have your mom at home? And so I wanted to have some sort of, because we're dealing with a lot of themes of, you know, love, emotion, music, I think family is important, and something that we want to showcase in that regard. And it just so happened that that Elizabeth ended up being his wife. But yeah, that's a fair question. I think as a player, I would prefer to attack different beasts. Oh yeah, Children of Morta. Yeah, Children of Morta I actually recently played, and that was a great example of family dynamic in a game. So that's actually a really good reference, and I recommend people play that. Also, the pixel art in Child of Morta is also good. But yeah, we want to make sure, I guess the one thing too that I want to make sure is clear is that we want to make sure that Elizabeth has kind of a frontal role in the story as well. Obviously, in the vertical slice, it's very early. But we wanted to make sure that Elizabeth as a character wasn't, you know, just like being a stay-at-home mom is a very honorable and righteous occupation, I believe. But we wanted to make sure that she had more of a role in that. And so she'll be helping the hero discover more about the ruins and the power that he's unlocked. And will play a very big role in sort of the development of the game as we move through the plot and the chapters of our project. Oh, Stevie, thank you, says the family dynamic is cool for indicating some aspects of the character. Yeah, I think it's like, it just gives, you know, some additional motivations. And the other thing I wanted to do, which I guess hasn't been placed in right now is right now you'll heal, not hear. You'll hear the music, but you'll heal each battle right now. There's no like persistent damage, but we do want to have persistent damage. And part of the healing mechanism there would be going home and resting. And something I thought would be interesting, I don't know, something we have to play around with, is the idea of making sure like, you know, your family has the means to support themselves. And so, you know, you're a scavenger, you're picking up loot off the ground and selling it. So maybe you go to the shop and you can pick up like groceries, for lack of a better term. And if you want to fully heal and get that like full HP bar back, you actually have to make sure that you have food at home and get that full rest, if you will. I guess if you're playing D&D, it's like having a full long rest, you know, versus if you don't have, you know, if you don't have food at home, then maybe you can only have a short rest and only heal you a certain amount or something like that. So there's some ideas there too that kind of push into the themes of like the struggling town that you're sort of living within and your role within that as well. Looks like we got some more questions here, Derek. Sorry, I know you were the questions guy.
Go. If you see it, go for it.
Yeah. So what kind of demographic are you thinking of? If you're looking at creating Kickstarter, is there a specific kind of person you think would be interested in playing the game? It looks really good. Oh, thank you, primarily. Demographics-wise, I'll be honest, personally, as a game developer, I've never been super into demographics as like a means of like, you know, making sure like oh, we're hitting males age 18 to 25 who like football. Like, I get that there's importance there, and from a marketing perspective, it definitely exists, and it's something that we're, you know, thinking of while we're doing biz dev stuff. But I really like to think that we can make a game where most people will enjoy it. You know, I guess our demographics are gamers age range like 13 to 45, you know, which is very broad. Obviously, people that enjoy rhythm games will be a huge market, but we do want to attract people that just like storytelling and RPG sort of mechanics, like players who enjoy games like Undertale, for example, would hopefully find a lot of things to love for in Rhythm in You. So you can think about in terms of what other things that they are in life, like their games they'd like to play or other things they're interested in. Yeah, like I said, people that are really big fans of music and music and games. I know that's like a broad thing, but it's definitely something that an audience that we want to capture. People that like quirky characters, that sort of like fan art element of indie game dev. So yeah, it's a wide range of people for sure. But we also want to make sure the game's affordable. So like, you know, I can't say for certain what the game's price is, but when you're looking at indie games, like, you know, $15 to $25 is probably a range we would be looking at, where we don't want to make a game that's super expensive. It's also going to probably be about, you know, anywhere between a 6 to 10 hour experience based on side content. So we want to make sure it's affordable for people as well, so anybody can pick it up and play. But I do want to point out this blue guy. He's one of the outsiders of our world, somebody who's not from Zephyra. And it's actually our first attempt at sort of a quest, I guess. And so he's sort of a collector looking for things, and I wanted to put something in that, you know, you can pick up these things around the world that kind of give you narrative blurbs. But now at least, you know, if you pick some stuff up, you can come back to this guy and he might have something unique to say. So we want to have sort of these mission quest givers in Zephyra that have kind of simple little things that you can do to kind of enhance your experience and exploration of the world. What range of music genres are you looking at? Anything's on the table. I don't want to say any musical genre is off the table. I don't know how Derek feels, but I want to make sure that, you know, we could have an enemy that is like punk rock, and then the next enemy is techno, and then we have an enemy that's heavy metal. Like, because of the narrative of it, where you're hearing the song of their soul, we want to make sure that it's as open as possible, and we kind of break player expectation there. So you might see that in a moment here as we continue along here.
I believe, yeah, like we would want like a very diverse range of like different characters, different races, like to the nth degree. Like, yeah, there's still stuff in development that are, I guess, similar to this guy here.
Yeah, like who's this guy?
Yeah, which almost I don't know I have no words to describe the character I have in mind, but you know, I'm talking about the blacksmith later on character type thing.
Yeah. Yeah, we
which
have ideas for like weird and like wacky characters. Obviously, like the main population of Zephyr is human, for human as it is in Zephyr. Like Zephrins are humans, but we want to make sure that like Ooze, for example, is a Zephyrin, but he's obviously not human. And so where did Ooze come from? Like what is that within the narrative in the world? And yeah, we're thematically and tonally, we want to be able to do wacky and weird things, like have the drama, have the intense moments, but also then meet this guy who, later on we want you to be able to trade with and actually buy and sell items to. So yeah, I totally agree, Derek. I'm gonna boogie here because I want to make sure we get to the last boss.
Yeah, only 10 minutes left. Time flies.
I only got 10 minutes, so I'm going to play. And if you guys have any questions, throw them in the comments. I'll try to answer as I'm focused on the game here. And Derek can also answer some questions as well. But I want to make sure you guys see all of our different enemies. We have a bandit here who will counter you occasionally, so you have to be wary of that. And if you try to block that attack in particular, you might be in for a surprise. You might be like, oh, I can block this knife attack. That's fine. And then there's a new attack. Oh, maybe I block up. No, you get hit. So you kind of have to start to learn how do you get around a character like this. And in this case, oh, he's going to be a little dingus and block. Okay.
You haven't even showed off the... There you go. Yeah, that was the other move you can do.
Yeah, the other defensive move is our dodge, which has a bit of a more punishing wind-up, but will be necessary to block certain attacks.
The combat is cool. Your animations and figures are nice. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, honestly, the big thing for us was creating the combat system is the bread and butter of the game. That's kind of where the heart lives. Oh, all right. Looks like I dodged. I'm gonna dodge this bandit. Usually I fight him in the forest, but I'll let you guys do that if you play the game. Obviously, yeah, our combat system is our bread and butter, with exploration kind of being our secondary system. And so it was really important for us to have something unique that we haven't really seen in other rhythm games. And now we come back to the ruins, and the ruins, after kind of collapsing from under us earlier, are a little more explorable here. You can really see how we play with like the Z depth here and allow the hero and character to move around the world in a unique way. And thank you, Pagu. And then we get to this mysterious chamber. Alright, doesn't seem like there's much more to do here, so maybe there's a little more exploring we could do, but I'll leave that for later. Let's get out of here and get back home. Hi-Fi Rush has good combat exploration as well as much bigger, yeah. Actually, funny enough, you mentioned that primarily because I just recently played and beat Hi-Fi Rush just a few weeks ago, because I finally got around to playing it, and I had a lot of fun. It was a great game. I know this isn't what people are here for, but my quick review is you got to push through the first couple hours because it kind of has a little bit of a slow wind up, but once you get through it, there's a lot to love in the boss fights and the moments there. So really cool rhythm action game. I would love to do an action rhythm game like that one day. So maybe rhythm in U3. I don't know. We'll see.
Completely flipped the script.
Looks like we got ambushed, Derek.
This is one of my favorite parts in the game.
When Ooze gets the jump.
And then everything else.
Whoa. And so here we find, near the end of the vertical slice, our final boss, our phase wolf. And he's, you know, he can be a bit of a struggle, but I'll see if I play well. Maybe I can show you guys a clean run here. And so you can see he does like 2 attacks in a row. So you're like, whoa, that's new. Got to start paying attention to that. The big thing too is for bosses like this is pacing out their attacks, making sure they're introducing new attacks appropriately. Oh, I got hit. Ain't that just the way?
There are some things I want to say about this fight, because this, first of all, is like one of my favorite music tracks in the game. I mean, it is my favorite track in the game so far, until of course Jeff comes along and creates something even better, which I have no doubt.
Derek, I do have to say, oh shit, I should have blocked that. I have to say, this piece was originally composed by our friend Dan, who then
That's right.
Jeff took over for. So this piece actually was composed by somebody else, but then Jeff kind of took his skills and compositional skills and really made it shine. So gotta give a shout out to Dan out there for
That's true, yeah. Piece. Collaboration of sorts.
Got a new use for this arrow challenge.
And earlier when you were talking about like enjoying watching players, I guess, struggle with the boss fights and that kind of thing and learn and keep coming back, I think one of the things that we've all enjoyed watching is when we get to go to events and we have like more than one station set up with somebody playing at it. There have been times where a few players got to this at the same time, and then all of a sudden it turns into a bit of a competition of who can actually beat the boss
who can beat
first.
The phase wolf first, yeah. It's honestly, the boss is still probably a little too difficult in all honesty, but it has been fun, like Derek mentioned, to see people at our events, like, not just like, you know, you might think you get frustrated after losing 4, 5, 6 times, but people literally will sit at our table and play our game for like 25 minutes just to like beat the boss, because I guess, and afterwards we asked them, we're like, was that frustrating? Like, did you have fun? And they're like, oh yeah, no, it was hard, but we had fun. And so that's a testament to our game, I think, which is nice to see.
This is where, like, this boss is where it becomes kind of Dark Souls, in my opinion.
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like
exactly.
Sheer difficulty.
Yeah, we've gotten a couple comments of Dark Souls of rhythm games, and I don't know how hard we want to embrace that, but you know, it's. I think there's truth to that in that it's about learning patterns and rhythm, and like, you know, Dark Souls kind of in some ways is like a rhythm game when you peel away some of the layers, because you have to learn, oh, he's going to attack, and then this attack has this execution on it. So we have those same elements for sure, but we want to make sure our game's more accessible than Dark Souls.
And we have, of course, well, not a question. I don't know how much more time we have for questions. We got 4 minutes left, but what kind of events do you have? I mean, we've been around in mostly Vancouver. Yeah, in the past we've been like at events like Global Game Jam, when I guess it was in person. We got to set up kind of a booth of sorts there, and showcase the game. There have been some other...
Yeah, we've done Global Game Jam pretty much every year since we've been working on this. We've done BC Game Jam as well. We've also done Quiver Games has some events, game jams, like Town 1 and all those. I don't remember the other name of the other one, but we've attended the Quiver Games ones. And we've also done Battle for BC5. I don't know if there's any Smash fans out there, but we actually attended Battle of BC5 and had a booth there for a day. We were there for a few hours and had professional competitive Smash players playing. And those were the people that were hardcore. They really wanted to beat the phase wolf. And that was back when it was a lot more difficult. There was a little more jank to the battles. It wasn't as polished. And so yeah, shout out to the people that were there for like 30 minutes or something to like beat the phase wolf. We gave them stickers. And then, yeah, there's some demographics for you primarily. Yeah. But that isn't to say, though, we want to make sure we capture those people. We want to make sure we capture the more casual audience as well, that can enjoy our game and its story and characters and, you know, its music, because I think the music ties the themes and the characters and the story together beautifully. And so I want to make sure that is accessible to other kinds of players as well. Leanza says, it's great seeing this game grow over the years. I remember when it was just a gray background. This growth inspiring. Thank you so much, Leanza. Yeah, for those that were back, shout out to those that were here like in 2021. No, did we do 2021? Might have been 2022. 2022, 2023, 2024. But shout out to those in 2022 that were here and saw the gray block area. And shout out to our environment artist, Omid. He's really pushed forward the last 12-18 months to like really put together an environment that like this house used to just be like really primitive blocks, and now it's looking nice and we have some like lighting and stuff. So it's not perfect, and we want to continue to improve and polish and do work. Obviously this is probably more of like a second pass here in the house, but you know what, I'll show you guys. We also got like an upstairs area that was newly implemented. You can see the gray sky behind there. There's some rough indie game.
You want some gray? Here's some gray.
Yeah, here's some gray for you. But yeah, I don't know why Omi put in a top floor. I didn't ask him to. He just was, yeah, we'll have a top floor.
There's stairs in the background. What do you mean you can't use them?
Stairs in the background, and I just figured you're not gonna necessarily need this much space in the house. Like, I guess maybe Elizabeth is up in the room at sometimes. You have to go up there. I don't know. Maybe the baby's up there. Maybe that's where you do the baby mini game. Maybe you can. The one thing that we joked about was, why do they have 2 cribs? Like, they're a struggling family.
Wow, I just noticed that. Wow, they got money.
2 cribs. They couldn't sell a crib. Yeah. Well, I think one of the things that we said was that Elizabeth inherited this from her mother when she passed, and so they have a nicer place. But do they really need 2 cribs? That's the real question. Sabishi Angel says, maybe you can put a music player upstairs to replay music you've done. It's a good idea. That could be a stretch goal for sure. Could be like a Kickstarter stretch goal. Get a music player back to play in the house. That'd be cool, actually. Good idea, Sabishi. We've reached time here, but I just want to make sure we give you guys enough time to ask any last questions you have about the game, our experiences as an indie, what's like being an unfunded studio, our experiences professionally, if you guys are getting into the industry or you're in the industry, whatever questions pop in your head, we're happy to answer. I have actually not mentioned, but we are exploring the option of incorporating as a cooperative, a workers' cooperative. One of the big things that I haven't mentioned or talked about with residents is that we are very progressive in our worker first kind of policies. We want to make sure that we do our business better and have the biggest thing for us is economic liberty of our developers, and making sure that they have the resources and also the flexibility to do their work in the ways that they need to. And so we're experimenting and looking at things like transparent salaries, salary scales. The big thing for us is profit sharing, making sure if you work on the game, you get something out of it at the end of the day. I think more studios need to, do these sorts of things, not only to retain their talent, but also, respect their workers. And so we're looking to incorporate as a workers' cooperative potentially, or at the very least function as one. And so that's been an interesting exploration as well. Pagu says, do you have a clear deadline when making tasks? We are flexible. We've been flexible. Derek, have we been flexible with our tasks?
I would say so, yeah. I mean, like, it's been like, okay, well, we think this amount of time for the task. It's usually, the person who's doing the task will give like a rough estimate, and then if it goes over, it goes over, and we, like, you guys will reassess the timeline to make sure everything's kind of meeting. Yeah, we get estimates for our tasks, and then we slot the tasks. In the past, when we were more milestone focused, we're kind of in a weird spot right now, focusing on polish. So I wanted to swap to this theme because you don't get to hear it in full very often. Yes, we create the tasks, and when we're in the milestones kind of mentality, we try to make sure that if we have like a bunch of 4-point tasks, 4-hour tasks, 8-point tasks, 8-hour tasks, we're fitting them, slotting them in like puzzle pieces with priority. And we will have deadlines. Like, we'll be like, okay, the end of this
month we want to try to get this and this done. But at the end of the day, everybody's been working out of their own time and energy, and so one of the biggest things for us is making sure that we respect that and are flexible. So if tasks get pushed, they get pushed. Obviously, when we have bigger deadlines, like for example this event, where we were like, okay, we want to put a build together, then we might be a little more like, hey, can we make sure we get this done in time? But even in this scenario, there was a couple things that we weren't able to get in on this build for showing you guys today, and that's totally fine. We want to make sure that people have the bandwidth to do their work. Moving into full production, we want to maintain that level of flexibility in terms of just like understanding, but obviously we're going to have more stringent deadlines when people are working half-time, part-time, full-time on the project. So that'll be when we actually are a little more hardcore on deadlines, but even then we still want to make sure that people have the time and energy to do their tasks. So thanks for the question, Pago. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you for all the questions so far. It's
Yeah,
been great to have this type of interaction with
sure.
everybody.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've done an online Discord style event, so it's been great to have like this many people watching. And unless there's any other questions, I think we're probably gonna wrap up here. And so yeah, just a big thank you to the dozen plus people here that have been in and out and sharing in our love for rhythm renew and our love for the studio and our game, and hopefully our excitement has been bearable and the game has been fun to watch. And like I said before, if you guys are interested in playing, I think Derek further up in this list, he put our links to our socials, and so we have our link tree up there, as well as a QR code to our website, which also has links to everything. And so if you want to see more Resonance games, we have multiple social media platforms to follow. We're posting pretty regularly throughout the week, as much as we can, especially about updates. And yeah, we're really excited to continue pushing forward with this project. We've gotten nothing but positive feedback and love from you guys and others. And so yeah, we're hoping we can pay that off in kind. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. And oh, there's our final plug from Derek. He has our links there. And if you want to play the game now, you can play the 0.9 build. Go back and see what we were like a month or so ago. But if you want to wait, that's totally fine. Just follow our socials, and we'll be releasing this build with a little more extra stuff going in probably in the next few weeks here. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know what the proper sign off for this is. Is it like, do we just wait till everyone leaves, or do we just like fade into obscurity,
I think we might have to be the first ones to go.
First ones to leave. But
Final.
I don't want to. Oh no, they're leaving. They're leaving. That's
That's all right. We're signing off now. Final farewell.
Right.
Thank you again, everybody.
Final farewell, everyone. Thank you guys so much, and yeah, we'll hope that you'll continue to hear the music, and we'll see where the music takes us. All right. Have a wonderful game jam as well, everybody. I hope everybody's games go well. So
Good luck.
All
Have
right.
fun.
Bye.
Bye.